All right, here we go. We have a New York basketball legend in the building.
Yes,
Sebastian Telfair. Welcome to VladTV. We've been talking about doing this for a few months now.
Absolutely.
But we finally are in the same place at the same time to do it.
What's good, Vlad?
Everything good, man. First time here. Let's start at the very beginning.
Starting the 2024, right?
Brooklyn, New York, Coney Island. Grew up with both parents, and your dad was a Vietnam vet.
Yep.
Was that like, a thing growing up? Did he come back, with like a PTSD situation from being out there?
Absolutely. Shout out to all the veterans. But yeah, my pops was a part of the Big Red One, Army Division. Went to the Vietnam War. He was over in Germany and all that type of stuff. Never was the same when he got back. You know what I'm saying? But he fought for the country, so I'm a part of that bloodline. But yeah, he definitely suffered from injuries, actually. Injuries that actually my dad passed away, from years later. But my dad's legs was, I'm not going to say blown up, but he had an incident over there when he was at war. And basically, yeah, I watched my dad patch his legs up my whole life.
Damn.
Yeah, facts.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Nah,
I feel like a lot of times the vets aren't treated well when they come back on top of it, so.
Yeah, he was a part of the, the veteran spot and everything close by Coney Island. So I don't know. I feel like it was pretty cool for him going to the war. I wish he didn't because he'd have been healthier, but I feel unique of being, the child of somebody that went to war for the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Facts. Okay. Now you have 10 brothers and sisters?
Yep. 14.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm happy you asked that because I always say 10, and it's really 14 of us because my father got 4 before he met my dad. You know what I'm saying? And they in my life. I know who they are. They always been in my life. But
before you met your mom.
Yeah. So I always kind of leave them out in interviews, but I'm here to say no. It's 14 of us.
Okay, so he has 4.
Yeah.
With different.
And then my mom and my dad is 10 of us.
Your mom and dad had 10 kids together?
Something like that.
Okay.
I never really made that detail because we a family, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I never really said what it was, what it is. But my mom and my dad actually have 5 kids.
Okay.
Who's the Telfairs.
Got it.
And my mom had 3 kids when she met my dad.
Okay, got it.
That type of vibe,
Right. Well, because your half-brother is Jamel Thomas.
Yes.
Right. And your cousin is Stephon Marbury.
Yes.
Got it. And you grew up in Surfside Gardens.
Yep. 31st Street.
Okay. So what was that like in the mid-90s, late 90s?
Sheesh. Rough. Coney Island was definitely rough. It's Coney Island's a peninsula, so we kind of like blocked in. We got our own community within the community, but super rough. Definitely, how right now I'll be telling the kids, like, we got new buildings, we got Rite Aid and all that stuff. I remember just walking around, it was just like gates and grass. Facts.
Right.
And basketball courts.
Right, because this is post the crack era, so you're dealing with the fallout of that whole crazy time.
Facts. Yeah, the 90s was, I don't know, because my childhood was pretty cool, so I don't really look at it as rough times, but the environment was rough, and, in the 90s, most black people ain't have no bread. You're trying to get some money, but other than that, it was normal.
Well, you talked about losing friends through violence during that time?
Yep, absolutely.
What do you think was the most traumatic thing that you either witnessed or knew about during that time?
When I was like, let me see. My friend David from my building, let him rest in peace, he passed away when I was maybe like young, like 8, 9, maybe like 9, 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. And I have a vivid memory of him because he didn't play basketball, right? He was kind of, a street kid. And one time, Disco Dave, part of my community, he used to run a big tournament, Coney Island Live for Youth, right? And he was on the side one time, and I was on the side because I was just a kid. I wasn't playing yet. And Disco said to David, he was like, yo, you got to play. Like, come over here and play. He's like, nah, I don't play ball. He's like, nah, I'm making all the kids play. Come play. So he got on the court and he was like, give me number 31. That's my block. I'm watching it as a kid. And they gave him number 31. And then when I started playing, soon I said, give me number 31. That's my block. So that's the number I ended up having. But that was super, super traumatic, like when he got killed 2 blocks away from where we grew up at.
Okay, through gunfire.
Through gun violence.
Sad. So what age did you actually pick up a basketball?
9.
9 years old.
Never learned how to play ball.
Okay.
Like, soon I touched the basketball, I knew how to play.
Right, because didn't you say around that time you told your mom that you're going to NBA?
Yep. So I'm gonna buy a house and I'm going to the NBA. Facts.
Okay. And how quickly did you start to progress from that age?
Well, Stephon went to the NBA when I was like 9, 10 years old.
Aha.
And Ziggy from Brooklyn, USA, who was a huge part of my success, especially as a child prodigy. He had a Brooklyn, USA, so it was a AAU program. And Stephon went to the league. Stephon used to play for him. And when they was organizing Stephon basketball tournament in Coney Island, Stephon Pops, Uncle Donald, let him rest in peace, he introduced Ziggy to my mom. I remember going to my block that day. He was like, yo, where you was? Like 9:30 at night. I was running around. He was like, you gonna play with Ziggy. I'm about to take him upstairs, introduce you to your mother. We went upstairs, introduced her to my mom. The next day he came and got me, took me to play in Citywide. And I remember Omar Cook and them being the older players. And I became the top 4th, 5th grader in the country right there. Top 5th grader in the country.
In the country?
That next summer, yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to kind of set the tone a little bit, in 1996 when you were 12, that's when Tupac
11,
got killed.
11.
You were 11, my bad.
Yeah.
That's when Tupac got killed. You said you cried like a baby.
Like a baby.
What was it for an 11-year-old to have that type of connection with a rapper that you've obviously never met? And, you know what I mean? To have you cry like that. I mean, it affected all of us. I remember when I heard about it, but I didn't cry, to be honest.
So interesting. Like, I really don't know. But you hear people speak about the effect of Tupac when he was for the culture. And I guess whatever plans he had for us, in the future, it was, it's still set in, it's still set in with us. But yeah. I just remember that day. I just remember whoever was on the TV and they was like, man, they pulled the plug and I was just on the floor, cried for like an hour.
Wow.
And my sister walked in and she was like, what happened? And I was like, Tupac died. But I don't know. That's crazy. And then it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they say the greatest rapper of all time. I mean, it's because of moments like this.
Yeah. I mean, I wish Pac got some more time to live. Like thinking about it now, how highly followed they were and how many things they got done at that age. It's like, like these dudes was definitely different.
Yeah. Well, later on, didn't you say that if Pac was in Coney Island, he'd still be alive?
Yeah.
Explain that.
It was kind of like a analogy, but like I feel like Pac ain't really have a community. So I feel like, and I'm just like everyone else. I'm just reading the reports like everyone else. I don't know these guys, but I feel like he was alone. You know what I'm saying? And when you got a community like Coney Island, like he wouldn't have been alone. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Yeah, you gotta have that safe spot. You gotta have that safe place. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like Pac got an opportunity or really had that.
Yeah, he jumped around from Baltimore to Marin City, to Oakland, to LA.
Fact. So when you're going through your ups and downs, I feel like even with my situation right now, right? When I got out on bail, they said that I couldn't come to Brooklyn. So I wasn't feeling that. I was like, wow, like I need to go back to Coney Island. So I made sure my lawyers put the paperwork in and make sure I could be in Coney Island. That's the best thing I did for myself. Go right back to my community, face the music, even though people see you back in your community, things like that. They just see you, make all the money and all that. But that's where I went back and, I went back to my bat cave and I had to go sharpen back up, recreate some things and start over.
Okay. So you go to Abraham Lincoln High School in Coney Island as well.
Yep.
And you just become a monster at that school. You become the all-time leading scorer until 2009 when Lance Stevenson, beat your record. You were named New York State Mr. Basketball. And it was around this time that you met LeBron.
Yep.
He came to New York to play.
Yep.
How big of a deal was LeBron during this time?
Sheesh. It's like in the basketball world, like the guys that knew, like Braun was already Braun off the rip.
Okay.
Like he was already 6'8", shooting fadeaway threes. Like he was already just moving like he was Michael Jordan.
Okay. Well, what happened when you guys started playing together?
Well, me and Braun known each other since we was like, how old? Maybe 12, 13. Before we got to the league, I had Braun come out to New York City and playing IS-8. That was a legendary game. It was cool for people who know who he is now. Like, man, Braun was, in Brooklyn and Queens with Bassie and shit. But when Braun came out here to New York, Braun only had 2 points. And everybody was like kind of picking on me about that. They're like, yo, why Braun came out here, he only had 2 points. I was like, I think Braun only had 2 points because when they pulled up, so let me tell you, we had Braun come out here. So we paid for the tickets. When they landed, we had 2 big turtles. Everyone got my jersey on, right? It's Braun, Mav, Rich, his group of characters, right? His group, right? His posse. So when they got off the plane and they seen how we had it and how we was running around New York, and my brother, the coach, and my coaches, somebody from the community that's our friend, and my friends is doing what they doing, like they ain't need to play the game. They knew they knew what they needed to do once they left from right there.
Well, right, because in 2002, you and Braun were on the cover of Slam.
Yeah.
And I remember the caption said, Sebastian Telfair and LeBron James are about to rule the world.
Fact.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. How did it feel to be on the cover with LeBron on one of the biggest basketball magazines in the world?
Like now or at the time?
At the time.
It was normal because, I feel like we was somewhat equals at that time. We both the top players in the country. We both were serious about basketball, but that definitely was super, super cool. That Braun go be the #1 pick a year or two after. That was definitely a part of my legacy, especially being from New York City. It definitely heightened the whole thing.
Well, right. I mean, Slam does occasionally put high school players on the cover, but not very often. Usually these are NBA players. So the fact they put 2 high school kids, 2 teenagers on the cover, but then with that, you had a Sports Illustrated cover story, you had a documentary, Through the Fire, there was a book, The Jump, Sebastian Telfair.
I'm glad you know all this, Vlad, because they're trying to leave me out the story. They're trying to act like they don't know all of this.
There was a magnifying glass on you.
Facts.
In high school, the likes of which I've rarely seen.
Facts. I'm the first Indian over the hill.
Right.
I'm the first Indian over the hill. So the whole template like you see nowadays when the kid come in, they got, cameras following him, he got a clothing line, he got his sneakers, the posse, the all that. I'm the first Indian over the hill to do that. And mine was organic. And we gave them Through the Fire, the documentary, which really showed everybody exactly, what to do and what we was doing at the time. And shit, everybody got paid after that. Everybody knew what to do.
Right, because you were also the McDonald's All-American. What year in high school?
04.
So you were what? You were a senior?
Senior, yep.
Got it.
All-Americans is for seniors.
Right. Which, if you're in the McDonald's All-American, it pretty much assured an NBA deal later on. Most times.
But by that time, I was already a full pro by that time. You talking my senior year? Like I've been on full salary, for already years.
Wait, so people were paying you already?
Yeah, I was ready. You got to see when I'm in 5th grade and 6th grade and all that, I'm in the magazines. I'm holding a Nike sneaker up. Like, that's not free. And you got to remember at this time, we going back to the 90s, and during that time, everybody broke. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the crib. It's 10, 15 of us in the house, that with a lot of love, but shit, like we ain't have it.
I mean, but wasn't that all under the table money, pretty much?
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, you have these situations where people will give you a bunch of money, the local D-boy or whoever, or whoever scout, would give you money, then expect you to sign with them later on. Was there any that type of thing going on?
Hey, my community, my community took a liking to me in a certain way, so I never needed in that type of way. Okay. But in my household, growing up, we ain't have no furniture, nobody have no cars, none of that type of stuff. So I was like, I went outside, Stephon came with a red Range Rover. I was like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Ziggy. Ziggy, I remember him calling me to his house, right? And he was like, I'm like in 6th grade. And he was like, we got a new Nike deal. It's because of you, but I'm not giving you all the money. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, can I get a Avirex? He went to buy me whatever, $1,000 Avirex, some foreign posits that was $250. And I ain't been the same since.
The whole Rucker Park situation with Jay-Z and Fat Joe, were you still in high school when that happened?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
The blackout.
Yeah.
That's the blackout. The blackout was crazy. That's the game that never happened. The game that never happened. But what people don't know is that the blackout situation kind of starts the whole year before. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, Stephon, my cousin, he's already playing with Fat Joe and Rucker. So one day Stephon come to the hood, right? He's in this new white Range Rover. We all on the block like, oh shit, staring. And Steph like, you want to go to Rucker? I'm like, to Rucker? I'm like, yeah, I never been to Rucker Park. You know what I'm saying? So I get in the car with him. We shoot up to the Rucker. When we get out the car, he got this big Gucci book bag on. We jump into this big stretch limo, which they having a team meeting in. So, you got the big stretch limo. I figure like an Escalade stretch limo. And when we get in, I'm right behind Stephon. Stephon jump in the limo. And when you look to the right, Fat Joe is sitting at the head of the limo like this. So soon I get in, he like, nah, he can't get in. I was like, oh, he like, nah, he can't get in because like, he only seen me with Jay-Z. And him and Jay is not eye to eye at this time at all. You know what I'm saying? So every time he only see me, I'm at the Garden and something courtside with Jay or whatever. So when I get in the limo, he like, nah. And Steph like, nah, this is my cousin. And Fat Joe like, I don't care. Like, he not getting in this limo, right? So Steph is like, he gonna play with us next year. So Fat Joe was like, you know how Joe is. You know how Fat Joe is. Like, he not, you know what I'm saying? You can't push him over by no means.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, he gonna play with us next year? All right. So they sit down, they have their meeting, whatever. They play the game. Fast forward, the next year, I'm walking in with Jay-Z like this, with Jay-Z arm around me, going up there. So that brawls all the way into the season, going into us both getting to the championship game. But that's the undertone of what's really going on.
Well, right, because Steph and Jay-Z got a whole beef going on.
And then you got Steph and Jay-Z beefing.
Right, because, well, there was a robbery that happened when Steph got robbed for a chain. And then when Jay dropped La La La, he said, don't confuse me with Marbury out this bitch. Run up on me at the light. You could lose your life. And then that was a shot at Steph.
Strawberry, you're very...
and then he responded, Steph responds, well, I look at Jay-Z and say, wow, here you are trying to be something that you're not. You're not an advocate for black people. You sold drugs to black people and you rapped about it and talked about it. How do you do that? Like, I'm trying to figure out that part. Like, you can't make that right. This ain't snitching. This ain't telling on nobody. You already told on yourself.
Man.
Steph's words. So, the two of them never really got along.
I don't get it.
But you're down with Jay.
But Steph's your
cousin.
Steph my family.
Right. So
and Jay,
you are kind of in the middle
Jay
of it
is
all.
the big homie.
Right.
All right. So that didn't make no sense at the time, and that was unfortunate for me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when I got around Jay and Stephon was feeling a way about that, I asked Jay. Like, I was trying to get them on the phone at the time. Like, Jay was like, man, I'm rapping. Like, I'm not even finna, like, respond or, like, really, you know what I'm saying? I'm rapping. So I remember throwing that out there, but that's so stupid. And then once Steph seen we was cool, that should have been what that is. Because Steph and Jay end up having an argument in Madison Square Garden restaurant, something like that. And Steph is talking crazy to Jay, you know what I'm saying? And that didn't help me and Jay relationship. But how I look at it, like Steph was hating. Yeah, because the real vibe, like Steph, my cousin, I love Steph, and Steph loved me, but Steph was hating. Like,
but they said it was over a girl.
I don't care and don't know nothing about that. I know,
but
I was up to get my family out the Jays. I was up to go do what I needed to do at the time, and Jay was a resource and a friend to me. You know what I'm saying? So the vibe with Steph at the time, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Steph was on. You had everybody kind of wanting something out of Steph on and kind of not getting it. Not saying he right or wrong for that, but I wasn't on that time. I popped up with Jay, and I didn't really have to ask for nothing. So him and Steph and Jay not being on the same page, I'm like, that's super bogus.
Yeah.
Super bogus.
Okay, so here you are, you're a superstar in high school. And originally, you committed to go to the University of Louisville.
Yep.
With Coach Rick Pitino. But then something happened that made you change your mind.
No, not really. I ain't have no plans to really go to college.
Okay. Well, because I had read that someone got killed in your apartment building.
Yep. Rob and Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace. It's a lot of you got a lot of RIPs in my interview right now, Vlad.
Yeah.
But yeah, my senior year, Rob and Isaiah got killed in my building on my floor. Super unfortunate situation. It definitely I'm not gonna say sped my decision up, but it made my decision make sense to other people. I was already in my mind feeling like I'm going to the NBA. I already told my mom that. I remember Rick Pitino came to my house and we had a meeting. My family was around, and this for every college coach in the world, right? If you're sitting in front of the best player in the country, right? They got him, whatever, right? And the family asks, is he gonna start? And the smart answer is not saying put a question mark behind that. Like, that's like so stupid. I see so many people do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not say, yes, your son is going to start. I'm going to give him the basketball. He's going to make us win a championship. But I remember my brother Dan, he was like, yo, he going to start. And Rick Pitino was like, oh, we're going to. We was like, bro, I was looking at my family like, I told y'all I ain't got time for this. So, but I remember Rick Pitino walking out the house, right? And I was going to walk them downstairs, but I closed the door quick. And I was to my mother, I was like, Ma, I don't care if I'm the last pick. I'm going to the NBA.
Well, I remember you had an interview with Sports Illustrated. You said, I know I can handle living here, but I don't know about my family. I've seen more friends killed than I can count. I don't want to put my family through that much longer. And I guess your mom didn't want to leave the projects either. And it seemed like your decision was sort of based on getting your family out of that situation. Not really?
Yes and no. Every kid growing up in my where I grew up at, in my environment, or in any type of, projects, anything, like every kid in America wants to come up with a plan and help his family.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Okay.
I loved basketball. It was just there. It was the thing to do. Stephon opened the doors, and our projects ain't nothing with basketball courts around when we was a kid. But nah, and those are like spaced out bullet points. I don't feel like that's the vibe in my community. Okay. That's the real truth.
Okay, now before you actually joined the NBA, you had an Adidas sneaker deal worth $10 million.
A little more than that.
A little more than that. And you're 18 or 19 at the time?
18, 19 when I got it, yeah.
So you haven't even joined the NBA, and you got a 8-figure sneaker deal.
Fact.
What does that do to a teenager?
Sheesh. For one, if you 18, you don't understand.
Right. You're not coming from a family of money that understands investments and everything else like that.
And I don't even look at it in that aspect. Like, if I would tell a kid and he's 18 and he get whatever, $15, $20 million, like investments and all that is cool, but it's like, bro, you cracked the code. That's code cracking. Everyone talk about investments and this and that, what to do with the money, and do people know? Boy, you cracked the code. You got security. Figure out how to protect the security in that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you 18, you don't understand how 40-year-olds are feeling. You don't understand. You're not really into the real world. You didn't get to live yet, where a lot of responsibilities are on you. And then to live, to have the mindset of when your bills is paid, and you can help people, et cetera, et cetera. You could buy a car, all that type of stuff. That didn't sink in my mind.
Like, what'd you buy with that first check?
My first check? My first check, I bought my brother a car.
Okay.
That didn't make it to my brother 530 went to the draft. They didn't draft him, whatever. He was crying to Stephon for 2, 3, 4 years for a car. Steph didn't want to buy him a car. And so soon I got $2, I went and bought him whatever car the new car was out at the time, 645. And gave him and I gave my mom some money. My mom and my dad some money.
Okay. And you became the first NBA player, because how tall are you?
6 feet.
6 feet. You were the first NBA player 6 feet and under to go straight from high school to the NBA.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
Right? Usually guys are like 6'5", 6'8". You were the first 6-footer to go straight.
Yep.
Number 13 in the 2004 draft, Portland Trail Blazers. And you cried like a baby.
Super.
When you find out it was Portland, as far from New York as humanly possible.
Yeah, I definitely wish I could have got drafted to another team, tell you the truth, but
right. It's not up to you though.
Definitely not up to you. Yeah. And I don't know, I think I just got wealth in my story, because that's Paul Allen drafting me. That's one of the richest men in the world selecting me off of paper. So gift and a curse with Portland.
How much was that initial deal?
From the NBA?
The rookie deal, yeah.
Only $5 million.
$5 million. But then you got the, whatever, 12, 15 million from Adidas. You're not really tripping. And $5 million is still $5 million.
At this time, they could have gave me $2 million. Like, it would have had the same effect. Because nobody understand the money. $1 million at this time sound like $100 million.
Right. And I mean, the Portland Trail Blazers were good a few years ago, but by the time you joined, they were kind of in a disarray.
Yeah, say it.
The team was a little bit of a mess.
Say it. What was the name of them before I got there?
What was it?
They called them the Gel Blazers.
Ooh, ouch.
That was the name of Portland Trail Blazers before I got there. Facts.
Okay, but you're considered a big deal over there. You're the number 2 point guard in the country, number 6 player in the nation. This is the kind of rankings that you're getting. So they're really looking at you as, okay, this is the
No, Vlad, I really was that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I really was that guy. I was supposed to went into the league, made $400-500 million for sure, easy. You know what I'm saying? I really was that guy when I was sitting there locked in, had it all going. You know what I'm saying? Because you need all them side accolades going on for yourself, book, movie, sneaker deal, and all that type of stuff to get to where LeBron is going. It's different ceilings for different people.
Right, but that 2005 season was not good.
2005,
23
that's
your
Boston.
final 28 games.
Yeah.
The team's worst record since 73.
And they screaming, fire Doc, fire Doc. They was trying to get Greg Oden. They was trying to get the number 1 pick.
Okay.
Facts.
I mean, how did it feel to be this huge prospect, to have the skill level, but you're not on a team that's just it's not working right now?
You got to adjust to that. You got to adjust because you got to learn how to lose. And then you got guys that's been in the league already. They already know how to lose. And then this was my first time being on a team where like the responsibility wasn't on me. You know what I'm saying? Where they didn't, you got in the league, the guy that's getting the money and all that type of stuff, he kind of takes the responsibility. So I get into the league, I got Zach Randolph making $20 million. When I get to Boston, I got Al Jefferson and Paul Pierce making $20 million. So it's the first time playing basketball where it's like I wasn't in control, you know what I'm saying, or it wasn't on me, you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like I was just a part of.
Now, what's your relationship with Smush Parker?
Smush. I'm cool with everybody from New York. All the whole New York City basketball players.
Right.
They all watch Through the Fire. They all know what it is.
Right, because around that time, Smush got on the Lakers with Kobe.
Yeah, I played against Smush at the Lakers for sure.
Right. But there's a whole story behind him and Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe called him the worst teammate ever. He said he shouldn't have been in the NBA, but we were too cheap to pay for a point guard. We let him walk on. You heard about all this?
Not that.
Yeah, and I guess at one point Smush tried to talk to Kobe. He said, I tried to talk to him outside of basketball, and he looked at me and said, you can't talk to me. You need more accolades under your belt before you come talk to me.
Wow. I knew Kobe since I was like 13. I got pictures of Kobe holding me like this when he first gets to the NBA.
What's the age difference between you?
Me and Kobe probably like maybe 10 years.
Okay, he's
a little less than probably a little less than 10 years.
Okay.
I don't know. I seen Kobe, before the games working out. Kobe came over to me. We was lifting weights. We both was injured at the time. I was playing for Minnesota. He was playing for the Lakers. And Kobe came over to me. He was like, yo, be great. Be great. So I was like, that always stuck out. You know what I'm saying? I got a Kobe story I'd like to share with you too. But I don't know. I don't know why he disrespects Smush like that. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I don't know.
Well, Kobe,
you gotta get your accolades up to talk to Kobe.
Well, I remember I interviewed Joe Smith, who played with Kobe and LeBron and Kevin Durant, all the greats. He just said that and Jordan, he played against Jordan, and he just said that Kobe's hunger was different.
Yeah.
When you talk about all the greats, like Kobe wanted to win on a level that he's never seen. What was different with Kobe than other players you played with?
I think he had a different hunger. I mean, we all see it and we all can, kind of tell, but like it was from I played with Kevin Garnett, I played with Kevin Durant, I played with LeBron twice, I played with AI, and his hunger was different. And I can't put a finger on what it was, but it's just how his will not to lose was just different. I mean, he come in and just instruct how he instruct practice, how he goes through practice, his knowledge of the game and what he expects defenses to do to him. So he's prepared when he sees it out there on the floor. I mean, there's a whole different preparation that he has for the game that you see anywhere else.
Before, so I can imagine if your point guard ain't going with your vision, you're like, fuck this dude, basically.
Kobe was like that with a lot of people. And that's why when Kobe passed away, let him rest in peace, Stephon said that. Stephon was like, what? Everyone act like they like Kobe. None of them like Kobe. They didn't like Kobe. And I was like, oh, shit.
Well, there is a story about you and Kobe.
What?
That you've told before.
Which one?
About how y'all came here on a bus.
Oh, yeah.
You want to tell
True
it?
story. That's one of the days and we lifting weights.
Okay.
And Kobe, like you can't. I never started a conversation with him. That's so funny. He just came over there. So I guess that was so much problem. You gotta wait till him come to you. But Kobe is like, man, you know how I know y'all can't guard me? So I'm like, how you know we can't guard you? He said, when the ball come in and it come hit my hand, I know y'all got here on a bus. I said, like, every team comes on a bus. You could leave from the hotel. Every team, no matter who it is, he's on a bus. He said, I got here on a helicopter. I just got off a helicopter. You got off a bus. It's a bucket. And I'm saying it just stuck like, I remember sharing that story with KD and Westbrook. And I remember KD looking at me like, I'm about to go ask Kobe, did he say this? And I'm sure he probably got an opportunity to ask him. But yeah, definitely, shout out to Kobe, man. That's a legacy we're going to miss.
Yeah, you've always heard stories about Kobe in the helicopter, how he would go to practice from his house, to the stadium on a helicopter. He lived on that helicopter, which
Kobe's that guy. I wish I would have stayed with that Mamba mentality, because when you playing ball, it's like you got to have Mamba mentality. Anything else is like, what are we doing here?
Well, around 2005, you invested in Philippe Chaos.
Yep.
Along with Kevin Garnett and a few other people. You threw like
Al Harrington.
Al Harrington. Yep, we've interviewed him before.
T. Lou, Tyronn Lue's coaching now. Yep. We just got the money, so I was just kind of getting into what I wanted to do. Jay already had the 40-40, and when you're around them, all Jay is talking about is business at this time. I was right there when Jay decided to do the Brooklyn Nets. That's another story. But yeah, I put the team together for us to go do. My manager Chris Brantley and Andy Miller. Shouldn't even mention Andy Miller, but yeah, we definitely put together with Stratus and Mike.
I love Philippe Chow's, man. I actually ate there just the other day. I got it ordered actually.
Yep. You know Worldwide, went to Miami, went up to the Hamptons, everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's a great business. Do you still own a piece of Philippe Chow's?
Nope. I sold mine some couple years out
to Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't own any of that franchise anymore.
Nope.
It's a strong brand, man.
Definitely strong brand.
Yeah.
Definitely was good. We'll get back to it.
Okay. So that next year, well, you had an injury, a thumb injury, right? So you were out like 12 games. Come back that next year, and a situation happened with a gun on the plane, where they basically found a loaded gun on the private jet at the Boston airport. Now, you said it wasn't your gun, it was your girlfriend's gun. But the NBA and guns, you know what I mean? From the Gilbert Arenas to the John Morants, it never really ends well.
Sheesh, Louise. Sheesh.
How bad of a situation was that when it happened?
It wasn't like a police type of thing. It was more me dealing with the NBA and me thinking about John Morant. When John Morant was just getting in trouble just now, I was embarrassed because the pot's already pissed in for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, what this kid said down, you're embarrassing me, bro. Facts. And I don't want to be a part of that. That's a fact. But yeah, nothing with nothing. It's like being young, making the wrong decisions. You know, got too much going on. Regular shit though.
Okay, now you own a piece of Philippe Chow's, but then one night you're hanging out at Justin's, and then things go really badly.
Before you get there, back to Gilbert getting in trouble also, right? Mm-hmm. Something that Gilbert said on his show, he was like, man, after I got in, because Gilbert was an all-star.
100%.
Right? And then he had his problems, you know.
in the locker room with the guns.
With the locker room, not really police type, you know.
Well, the police got involved at one point.
Right. Nobody was threatening to go to jail, really.
Well, no, but he had to plead guilty, which is how he lost his Adidas deal.
Oh, he had to plead guilty for that?
Yeah, something minor, but that's how he lost that huge deal, yeah.
After that situation, he said that when he was playing, it felt different. Like he can see everything, he can hear everything in the arena. The environment felt different. And when I seen him say that, I was like, man, I played my whole career like that. Like my whole career, where he was saying he couldn't really do no more because it's a different type of environment, it's a different type of feeling once you get that type of, you know, stigma put on you or type of situation while being in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. You're at Justin's, which I guess you shouldn't have even been at because you're investing in Philippe Chow's. You should be at Philippe Chow's instead. But you're hanging out at Justin's, which is Diddy's old restaurant, and someone snatches your chain. It was a Rockefeller chain?
Yep.
Okay. What happens?
Somebody snatched my chain. It was like, and he up. Nah, right. I don't know.
But it wasn't like an armed robbery. It was like someone just grabbed it, right?
Yeah. It was somebody just grabbing it, ran off.
Right.
Type of thing. It was like I had I was with my ex-wife at the time, and while I was driving the Flying Spur, and I parked it right in front of Justin's. So I get out, and we going in to give us our table. We sitting down. A couple of minutes later, the valet was like, "Oh, they towing the car. You got to move the car." So I get out, move the car, whatever. When I'm coming back in, the kid came off the wall, just shoot. Took off. I turned around, looking at him like, just took off running.
Okay, but then a scuffle happened, and I remember I was watching.
What scuffle?
Well, okay, so I remember seeing an interview. It was on Cam Capone News. Someone from Fabulous's crew,
Okay.
Street Family, talked about they were coming in and they saw the scuffle, you know, and they saw you like pissed off or whatever else. And then a shooting occurred and there was like 12 of them, but Fabulous ends up getting shot. Right? I'm not saying y'all had anything to do with it.
Cap.
But it was, no?
But that's Cap. We talking about what Cam, what show you said?
Cam Capone.
And what's the dude name?
Let me look it up.
Someone sent that to me. So he's saying in the robbery is a scuffle.
A guy named Rollo. Not Rollo from Atlanta. Rollo, R-A-L-O-W.
Facts. Nah.
He was the one that took Fabulous to the hospital after he got shot.
Well, I don't know about all that, but this it being a scuffle when that happened, that's Cap. I was walking by myself.
Okay.
And someone came off the wall and he got 1 foot past me and reached back and snatched my chain and ran. So it wasn't no scuffle. I seen him say something about that, like basically I was held down and robbed at gunpoint like that. Like, nah, it's like.
Okay. But then Fabulous gets shot. And then the rumor was like, oh, okay, this was retaliation for the chain snatching from someone from your crew. And it turned into a whole big thing, which from what I understand isn't even true.
Yeah, because that's what the newspaper got to do, sell they shit. And then I'm connected to the NBA. So, of course, that's an easy sell. That's an easy sell. Easy.
Right, because
and that story, that shit been like kind of holding me back for years. Like I don't care about that. Everyone moved on, doing what they got to do in life. Dudes was much younger. Like nobody cares about that. I was a victim in that situation. Exactly. I already know the streets don't really look at it like that, but I'm a victim in that situation. I'm a multi-millionaire in that situation.
Yeah.
Feel me?
Well, because that next night, you know, after your game against the New York Knicks, you had to go to a police lineup, right?
I mean, no, they came and got me off of the court. So I'm playing against the Knicks the next night at Steph and I think I maybe got like 15, 20 points already at halftime. And so when we get to the locker room, we got NYPD finest right there on the side of my locker room. Everybody looking like, I'm like, they like, you gotta go do a what's that shit? A lineup and see, identify the person. They could have did that shit all day.
But they chose at the game to do it.
Because they already knew what the truth was and everything. So they knew like how we could just bother him to be bothering him. Like it was nothing to bother me about.
Right, because you can identify anybody.
Thank you.
Right.
So it came in there, took me off of NYC, Madison Square Garden to go do a press conference. The whole Boston Celtics team came and picked me up after the game.
Right, because you're playing for the Celtics at this point. You had been traded already to the Celtics. So now you're playing the Celtics in New York. So
the game end, the whole team pulled up to the bus. I remember Doc Rivers. You gotta remember, we got Doc Rivers at the precinct in New York City.
That's crazy.
Imagine like what that did. You gotta think about it. And then they gotta run that season. This is the start of that season you're talking about when we had one of the worst records. That's the start of that. But they got to run my numbers back from that moment before that. My rookies year, my second year was perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? Doc Rivers and them, they was like, oh, hell no. All of a sudden, Rondo starting.
Because of that.
Facts.
Okay, because was that the reason why you lost your deal with Adidas?
Yep.
It was a $20 million deal.
Yep. And I had like a $6 million check pending right there.
So they just snatched that right back.
And yep.
And you said you lost $20 million in one night.
Adidas is super bogus for that.
Yeah.
Adidas is super bogus. If you go to my documentary and they ask Adidas, like, why y'all signing Sebastian? Like, what he brings to Adidas? And they was like, street credibility. That's
street credibility?
Yeah,
they said that?
That's on my movie. Y'all could look that up. That's right wild. There. And this is the head of Adidas. What he bring? Street credibility. Soon some street shit supposedly jump off, y'all go snatch all the money back. And y'all been paying me way before this. So how you gonna take? That's my family backbone right there.
I mean, could you have tried to fight it? Could you have like gotten your lawyers involved and argued that no, I didn't do anything? Because at the end of the day, you're a victim, right? You're a victim of a robbery. Like how did they snatch away a major deal. You know, I understand the Gilbert Arenas thing. He's waving around guns with teammates and acting a fool. That's my man. You know, the next night he's doing a little gun thing on the court.
That deal should have never been taken away from me. That deal should have been guaranteed.
Yeah.
I remember when they first presented the deal to me, right? I had my agent with me, and I had my high school coach with me, right? This is not like the real formal meeting. This is them letting me know that they about to give me, you know, a deal. And the first thing I sat down with Adidas, and they said, we want to let you know, Sebastian, we put this deal together for you. Your agent don't got nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? So that is X them out of some of the money. But if y'all did all of that, how y'all end up taking that deal back?
I mean, in retrospect, do you think if you got like a high-powered lawyer and try to fight it, you could have gotten it back?
Man, I feel like when it come to that corporate world, me and my family, like we strong as a family, you know what I'm saying? But in the corporate world at the time, we wasn't strong. And that's why we should have had Jay-Z around us still. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody would have had the answers or been there and seen that before. We were saying there like, oh, they using, you know, some fake street stuff to take the money. So nobody really wanted to, you know what I'm saying? But that was our backbone and that was our security. And I let them take that deal. That's why y'all bring up Justin's. I'm like, fuck that. We been all like, yo, fuck that. I got to move on with my life.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about that.
That same year you got married, right?
Fuck that too.
Mad young. You were 21?
Facts.
Way too young to get married.
Way too young to be getting married.
But was it because
all that bullshit going on?
Is it because the NBA wants married players because there's a family audience and that type of thing?
No. It's because dudes is dumb and no one's speaking up. No one advocates for athlete. They look at the athlete like, oh, y'all the ones with the money, and no one advocates for the athlete. Athlete can't even say nothing. I'm like, what? That's bogus. Everyone don't got LeBron money. LeBron live in a different community than the rest of the players.
Yeah.
I'm saying they said 178 players only make 1 to 4 million.
Yes.
So come on, bro. You know we could come up with 3 million and make more than half the league.
Well, right. And you mentioned 90% of players get divorced.
When I got into the NBA and I was going to the meetings, they were saying 7 out of 10 players get divorced. Now it's 9 out of 10 players.
Yeah.
So if people want to know where's the wealth in the basketball, it's in the divorce.
Right. The ex-wives.
Yeah, giving up the pension and all that stuff. I'm like, bro.
Oh yeah, Larsa Pippen, she got Scotty's pension. That was wild.
The NBA need to do something about that. And I actually was on the phone with them 2 weeks about this issue, and they said they was trying to come up with something to protect the players. Because it's the players though. It's the players. Like dudes got to understand that pretty girl that's on the side of you right now in that nice house, her energy will shift. 9 out of 10. Kevin Garnett got a divorce.
Yeah.
Like
Shaq got a divorce.
Shaq got a divorce. Michael Jordan got a divorce. Yeah. So I want to tell, this is for all the players. I'll be the bad guy. I'll be the one. Like, what Shorty saying next to us ain't it. Them basketball players, so everybody you see right now with them girls ain't it. Now you still got that one. So I don't want to discredit maybe Savannah the one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the other 9, y'all bogus. And I'm telling y'all bogus. Y'all bogus. Y'all all leaving. Y'all all stay the whole career because y'all don't want another chick sitting there. And then y'all bouncing.
Oh yeah, no, I interviewed Joe Smith. Right when his NBA career was over, divorce. She stayed while he had 4 side kids. 3 or 4 side kids.
3 or 4 side kids while
she
making
stayed.
that money.
But
and
once that last NBA check showed up.
She's bogus. All of them bogus. Y'all all bogus. Y'all all leave. Y'all all leave. Y'all all leave right away. Soon you find out his rookie year when he went to Charlotte, he had, you know, what's the name on with him. Bounce right there and I could respect it.
Yeah. Well, that next year, you end up getting traded to the Timberwolves. How was that whole situation like?
Probably one of the best things that happened in my career.
Right. You said that was one of your favorite times.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Timberwolves, because coming out of that situation where I thought my career was over. They took a liking to me. I got a time to be in a small town. take, some of my family there, and we got a chance to just focus on basketball a little bit, to tell you the truth.
Well, right. That 2007 season, that was your best career as a pro. You averaged 9.3 points, 5.9 assists. It seemed like you're like in your groove and things were starting to build up.
And when I signed with them, they was like, we got Randy Foye and we got Jarkic. They were like, you're not going to play. You know what I'm saying? They was like, you're not going to play. We just signed to you, this and that and that. And I was like, okay. I think I started like maybe 70 games that year, something like that. I ended up starting for the whole season.
Yeah.
So that was the coming out of, losing Adidas deal and all that stuff. That was the first year of me trying to, do something a little different. And focus a little bit, at the time being at the Timberwolves. But I also had to play my cards different, you know what I'm saying? Because I was just moving, like being myself. Because I'm a good person and I love my family and I help my community and I help my friends and I'm very giving. So in my mind, I'm a good person. So people should treat me that way. But people more gonna look at you from the outside more than what's in your inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I knew, so this is probably like my 4th year now. I'm around for a little bit. So I knew when I got to Minnesota, like, don't bring my Bentley with me. Don't bring all that stuff. Don't do that, because that was affecting me at the time. When I was with Boston, that hurt me. That's why the season was bad, because I'm the only one pull up with the Bentleys and all that. And this is Rondo, Coney Island, Paul Pierce, Perkins, Al Jefferson. The NBA was different. I'm the first one to walk in, Louis Vuitton down and all that stuff. Facts.
Yeah. Well, that same year, April 20th, 2007, you were driving with a friend, Al Fuentes, in your Range Rover. You were going 77 in a 45 in the Bronx.
You were doing 55 in the 54.
Right.
License registration.
That old bullshit. You get pulled over. You had a suspended Florida license. So they find a 45 caliber handgun. Both you guys said that they don't know anything about it, and you guys charged with felony possession of a weapon.
Nope.
That's not true?
Not a felony charge. Nope.
What did you get charged with?
I didn't get a felony for that. I got a misdemeanor.
You got a misdemeanor charge.
I was on probation for 3 years.
Didn't David Stern reach out to you around this time?
Yes.
What did he say?
Not reach out to me. He reached out to me, but he ain't say nothing on the phone. He was letting me know I'm looking for you.
Okay.
So we over in Istanbul doing some event when I'm with the Timberwolves. One of them, I forget the company where they give the hearing aids out, right? I forget the company. So we doing one of them events, and David Stern walks in. When he walk in, for whatever reason, like I turn around, like catches the door, and he walk in, and I'm noticing he's not saying nothing to nobody. And he's like going through everybody, and he gets to me and he puts his hand out to shake my hand. I'm like, oh. He was like, one more and I'm gonna crack your balls.
Crack your balls.
Word for word. One more, I'm gonna crack your balls.
Because this is now the second gun situation after the private plane situation. Now this is the second one.
One more, I'm gonna crack your balls. And he was not laughing or smiling. And I was saying that like, I got you.
All right. You got 3 years probation for that and a 3-game suspension after you pled guilty. I mean, this is now your second gun situation. Why do you feel like you just needed guns around you? Listen, I have guns too. I'm not anti-gun. I got guns in my house, multiple ones. I'm pro-gun, but I don't really carry them around like that.
I don't really got no answer for that, but we are in America.
Yeah.
That's my answer for that.
But you could also afford security if you wanted.
No, I can't. I can't afford security.
Yes, you can.
Adidas took the deal. No, I didn't. I wasn't in that situation.
I can afford security.
Nah, that's cap. People be saying, oh, you can afford. Yeah, I mean, you going out one night, but having full security, like the people that have full security, that's for people that got real situations making real money. Well, I look like paying for security to follow me around all day. Half of my family not even straight.
Yeah.
Fuck is y'all talking about? What I look like paying anybody, we not even straight.
No, you're right, because you weren't at a club or you weren't at an event.
Facts.
You're just going through life.
You don't stop me and bothering me. Who know I got a gun? Ain't nobody nothing going on. So it's just like, you just got to move accordingly. So I'm not hanging my head about that. I don't give a fuck about that. I pay my debt to society. And yeah, this is America. And it is what it is. Bad decisions. I'm not making an excuse for it. That's just bad decision. But I don't know. What I'm saying is very clear. I don't care about that. I'm not hanging my head about that shit no more. I did that my whole career. I played like that the whole time. How I'm All-American, I'm this and that and that and that. And I get to the NBA, I'm like this.
Yeah.
Fucking with them guns.
Okay. And you were with the Timberwolves for 4 years?
Yep.
Because they re-signed you for a 3-year contract. So now you got a 4-year stretch.
Yep.
You know, at a solid team. Now they're not going to the finals, but you know, at least now you're getting some consistency in your life and everything else like that. And then in 2009, you get traded to the Clippers. Was that a disappointment?
Yep. I definitely wanted to stay with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't want to go to the Clippers. And only thing that stuck out to me about the Clippers, I met BD. I got to become close friends with Baron Davis.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take it back. But when I got to the Clippers and I got my first check, I was ready to go. I was like, oh, y'all can send me back to Minnesota. You got to know the difference between Minnesota taxes and LA taxes.
Yeah, I know. I live in LA.
Two different things, bro.
Right.
So
they
like
take a whole lot more.
Yeah. You get your check in Minnesota. So let me, for the audience, let me make it make sense. It's like basically damn near half your money, bro.
Right. That's why people move to Miami and Vegas and stuff like that.
Yo, facts. So if they was giving you getting $50,000 a check in Minnesota, you go to LA, that check looking like $27,000, $30,000. Right. I was ready to go right there.
Right, because you were with the Clippers.
Done leaving my coach.
Yep. And you ended up getting injured, I think. Groin injury.
D-Rose,
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, D-Rose got a steal when he was on a fast break. He's so strong and powerful that he's about to go up, and I swiped down and tore my whole groin. Worst feeling ever.
Okay, then you get traded to the Cavs.
Yep.
With LeBron, and Shaq is actually on the team as well. This was like his second to last team.
That was fun.
Now you and LeBron go back.
Yep.
What was that like to be on the same team with LeBron after that many years?
Cool, but I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And LeBron's now a superstar.
LeBron always superstar. Like,
yeah.
To put it in context, like, take LeBron Nikes off him his second year. Do that help him? How much would that hurt LeBron if you took them Nikes off him his second year?
Yeah.
So at this time, by the time I get to Cleveland, I'm basically winging it. That's the real truth. I'm still trying, but I'm kind of talking in third person, like speaking about the situation. Like, I'm winging it by that point.
Right. Did you and Shaq interact at all?
Absolutely.
What was that like?
Absolutely.
Shaq, I know Shaq, man.
Super smart dude.
Yeah.
Super smart dude. So we getting on the plane. He's gonna be reading the book. He got his briefcase. He got his business partners. Shaq, like, he knows who he is. So, you know what I'm saying? He's always gonna try to, like, I don't know. Shaq is cool. Shaq's super cool.
Right, but this is like near the end of his career. He goes to the Celtics next year, and then he retires.
He was at the end of his career. So he was just there, like, you know, having a good time.
Right. And then you go back to Minnesota again.
Yep.
Delonte West is actually on that team.
I played with Delonte in Boston also.
Yeah, right, exactly. This is the second time. When you see Delonte now in bad shape, I remember we were actually supposed to do an interview with Delonte.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting beat up.
Whoa.
Like on the street, like the day before. And it was just like, oh man, like I didn't realize how bad of a shape he really was. We're like, okay, we'll just leave it alone for now. And you see him, it's like, it's heartbreaking because he was, you know, a serious player at one point.
That shit truly heartbreaking. I mean, anyone dealing with, I guess he's dealing with addiction?
Addiction, mental illness. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of things going on at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope he get the official help that he needs. I know the NBA said they was trying to help him, but I don't know. I haven't really seen much. But I was around him. He was a super funny dude, super outspoken. Boston Celtics didn't want us drinking Red Bulls. Everybody know Red Bull is fucking terrible for you, right? Mm-hmm. So he used to still put them in the cooler, make them cold. And Delonte's be like, hey, Bazzy, I got them Red Bulls. So I used to be laughing with him and shit. He didn't want to play point guard. Him and Doc Rivers arguing. He like, I don't want to play point. You know what I'm saying? When we in practice and shit. And so I didn't really know his mental was all the way off. But yeah, I just remember like, you know what I'm saying, this him going, you know, having a little confrontation with them. I remember them having not a tutor, they had like kind of like
a handler kind of?
Like a handler with him, you know, when he was on the team for sure.
Was the story about him and LeBron's mom dating, was that a real thing?
I don't got no confirmation on that, but I was there during that time, and based on the vibe, I don't know, but it probably was true.
I mean, she's a grown woman. I mean, if she wants to date a grown man, I mean, that's her business. No.
I don't know. I know we was in the playoffs against Boston that year. I was irritated because I got there the end of the season, so I didn't suit up for the playoffs. And I'm watching Rondo and these dudes run around these dudes. I was hot. I was hot. And then that come out right in the middle of the playoffs. And I'm saying that like, I don't give two shits about that. Like, give me my jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop it. And then I feel like that's super disrespectful, but I'm making a spectacle of that. Like, stop it. Well, shout out to Gloria. Yeah. Black lady driving a Lamborghini. Yeah. I love that. Facts.
Well, and then you get traded to the Phoenix Suns, which you said was your favorite team.
For sure.
Period. Grant Hill's on the team. Steve Nash is on the team. I mean, originally it was only supposed to be for 1 year, but they actually ended up extending it.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be on a team that was like a contender team at that point?
That a contender. Okay. A good team? Yeah, it felt good to be on a good team. Because you got to kind of get lucky in the NBA with that. You can't really necessarily be in a situation where you're in a rebuilding stage every year. You know what I'm saying? It felt good. Veterans, be around, you know, Steve Nash and these guys. Phoenix, the business, you know, office took a liking to me. But Phoenix was like a gift and a curse for me, tell you the truth. I think Phoenix ended my career, me being there, tell you the truth.
What's the curse part?
How it ended when I was there. Because I was there I didn't even want to sign with Phoenix because it was a lockout. And I remember being in Westchester, I'm in my house, and I remember my agent called me, Andy Crook Miller, right? Just throw his name out there. Andy Crook Miller, right? He called me. He was like, Phoenix Suns want to sign you. They want to give you $1.5 million. I was like, nah, tell them give me $2 million. I'm going to get on a plane tomorrow. So he was like, nah, TJ Ford just signed to Spurs for 1.5. I was like, I don't care. So he called me back. He was like, all right, I got the $2 million for you. So the next day I get on the plane, I go there. When I get there, I see the contract. The contract says $1.5 million for 1 year. And the second year, they put 2 years on the contract. And the second year it says $1.9 million. So 1.6 and 1.9, $1.9 million. But the second year is not guaranteed, and it's $500,000 cash out. So they basically after the season, they're gonna cut you and give you the $500,000. They owe you $2 million. You know what I'm saying? I say, cool. Bruh. Andy Crook Miller lied to me, basically. He thought that if I would have went to Phoenix and not done well, that's exactly what had happened. The season would have ended. They gave me my $500,000 and they'd have said, fuck out of here, right? I get to Phoenix, I have decent team. I start, you know, focusing, playing well. And it's the first time in my career where things kind of felt like I was in the NBA when I was with Phoenix. I mean, like, my mom got a house, I got a house, you know what I'm saying? We got all of like the materialistic fruit from the league. So it's the first time I felt like, you know, how it's supposed to feel, or how I was assumed it would have felt to be in the NBA. Because it's never fun losing, you know what I'm saying? So after the season, the second half of the season, I ended up averaging 15-8. You know what I'm saying? We won game from the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They over there saying they love me. So I'm like, all right, cool. The week before the season end, I meet with Andy Miller. So we in Houston. So I met with him. I'm like, what type of deal can I get? Because you already remember, I'm trying to get up. They took the Adidas deal. I'm playing for league minimum. I'm trying to get back up. He was like, all right, at least minimum $15 million, 5 a year. And I'm like, that's what I need. Mm-hmm. So I could take that, I could focus, and then we could go get a big deal. The season, so I played against Houston that night. I remember playing against Kyle Lowry and whoever the other point, I tore their ass up. They didn't know what was going on. They already making money. I remember them telling me I was gonna get that deal. I went and tore Cal and them up. We beat Houston, all that. So boom. The season end, on the contract said they got 10 days to give me the money. So I'm quiet for them 10 days. So when that 10 day hit, I hit them. Yo, with that 500,000. 500,000? No, we like you as a player. We're gonna keep you into that 1.9 million for the second year. But my agent already told me that they already agreed that no, this is for 1 year. They're gonna cut him, get him, give him the 500,000. That's the 2 million he asked for. And then if y'all want to keep him, y'all got to do a whole new contract. And I just met with you a week before the season ended, right? And to make that situation bad is going to the start of the season. I went to them. I was like, yo, y'all got me in the locker room with Steve Nash, Grant Hill. Then you got the guys that's not like, their name ain't as big, like Josh Childress and Hakeem Warwick and Jared Dudley. These dudes make $10 million a year. Like, for real, like these dudes, like on the bench, like nobody really, you know what I'm saying? Make 10. So I was like, yo, I'm not making no money. Y'all got to give me my money in 6 months so I could get bigger checks, whatever. They get my money in 6 months versus the year. And they agreed and they gave it to me like that. So me knowing that, I'm focused. You know what I'm saying? I go I'm getting my checks for the 6 months. The season end at the same time they telling me. So my money in the same time they telling me, your agent lied, bro. You know what I'm saying? So me going through litigations with them that summer, I ain't even get it next day. I end up in China.
Well, right. Well, because in 2013, you get traded to the Raptors.
At the end of the season. The second year. I end up playing into that 1 point whatever.
Right. But then you become a free agent and then you go to China. What's the name of the team? I can't pronounce it.
Tianjin.
Tianjin Rongang?
Yeah, Tianjin Dragons.
Dragons. Right. You signed a 1 year deal over there. Right. You end up getting 3.5 years. And then that's the outburst. I remember there's this whole, where you were basically like, yo, this is unfair. I help kids. This woman's lying. She's got mental issues and so forth. But ultimately they give you 3.5. Now, your sister ends up getting probation for threatening a witness. Was that same girl you're talking about?
No.
A different witness?
For threatening my ex-wife.
Okay, because allegedly your sister said that this witness was going to die or have to live with a rearranged face.
I don't know about that.
Okay. She ends up getting probation. Now, you get 3.5 years.
Yeah, my sister been on probation for this whole time with that. My sister just getting an ankle monitor offer for this case.
Okay.
Like,
sorry to hear that.
You feel me? For a text message. So that when I say that I don't give a fuck about that, I don't.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Well, explain to me what happens. So you get 3.5 years, you get locked up, but then you get an appeal fairly quickly, right? Like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
That's rare. Usually appeals take a long time. So you get sent to Rikers?
Yep.
What was it like being Sebastian Telfair in Rikers Island? A place that no one wants to be at.
Super lame. That's how I felt. Super lame. I'm like, look at your lame ass people over there talking to me, giving me everything. Everybody want to be cool with me. I was feeling like, you lame as fuck, man, boy.
Right.
Facts.
So your lawyer filed an appeal. They accepted it. So you get out after 2 weeks, which rarely happens.
We knew once it left that court, like we had a chance.
So now you get out.
Yeah.
But that next year, 2020, COVID hits.
I got out of downstate, FYI. So I was in Rikers for 2 weeks, and then they sent me to downstate. And downstate, some history was made in downstate, us getting out of downstate, transferred out of downstate.
Yeah.
Never been done before in the history of the jail. Like, never. And the day that the Bellsmont, my lawyer, and them got there, they was like, look, we got the signature from the judge and this and that and that. And it was the sheriff lady that runs the whole spot. She was like, nah.
Well, she had to double check it.
Sent them to Albany. Go to my boss and get a whole another letter. And came back and she walked me out. She was like, I never. We got the Lambo parked right there. Oh, man, it was funny. I'm yelling. Everybody, the whole jail yelling.
That's what happens when you have good lawyers, man.
I don't want to sound like I'm half glorifying none of that situation, but like,
imagine if you had a court-appointed attorney. You'd be there right now. You'd be sitting in that same jail cell right now. Yeah.
And that's bogus, bro. Yeah. Because so you trying to tell me everybody that got court-appointed attorneys is sitting in jail?
Most of them are, yeah. Pretty much.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that next year, that's when COVID hits, and your mother ends up catching it and passing away. Your brother as well?
Yep, my older brother Dan, that coached me in Lincoln.
So these are two of the most important people in your life.
Absolutely.
Was this
backbone to my family, tell you the truth?
Yeah. Was the vaccine around during this time, or this was early before it was really available?
No, they got sick right off the rip.
Right off the rip.
Right off the rip. Right off the rip. So my case ended up being a blessing. Tell you the truth, Vlad, because I don't know, like, even if I woke up with no money, like let's say in 2017, I woke up and I didn't have a penny, I still wouldn't end up back in Coney Island. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So God's so good to me that put me in a situation because I got an opportunity to go back and live with my mom.
Oh, before she passed.
And physically be with my mom and ask her questions and her answer things, especially for everything we just went through. Feel me? I had to force my mother to move out the projects. I had to force her to sit there and look at papers with our real name on it when it says millions of dollars. My mother was scared. She had to tell me I was scared, Bassie. I couldn't get my mama to look at the paper. Swear to God.
Yeah. I'm sorry for your loss, man.
So, you know what I'm saying? I got the opportunity to go and be with my mom for that time. And I'm like, damn, only the arrest would have made me been there. Nothing else could have made me be back in Coney Island at the time. So I'm like, damn, God don't make no mistakes at all. And my mom did her job already. Yeah. Facts. So when she did her job already. So, and my mom was in the courtroom with me during the sentencing, right? I did not want my mom to be in that courtroom. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, what? I don't want you to see this, right? And right before I went through the chamber, she was like, God sit on the throne. She's like, God sit on the throne, don't worry. I know all my mother's sayings. I've been around my mother my whole life. I know all my mother's sayings. I've been around my mom my whole life, and I never heard her say that saying.
Okay, your mom passes away. Your brother passes away. You're sitting on appeal, essentially. In 2021, 18 former NBA players get arrested on charges claiming they defrauded the league's health and welfare benefit plan out of $4 million.
Fact.
Including you, Jamario Moon, Glenn Big Baby Davis, who I interviewed, Tony Allen, Darius Miles, and a bunch of other players. I remember when I interviewed Big Baby about this, and I asked him about it. He said, he quoted Young Thug, take that shit to motherfucking trial. Essentially, according to Audrey Strauss, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, the defendant's playbook included fraud and deception. The players will have to answer for their flagrant violations of the law. So when I say all this, what do you say?
Take that shit to motherfucking trial.
Take that shit to
motherfucking trial. That's all it. That's all I got to say.
But recently he was found guilty of this whole situation. Now, he's not doing jail time over this, is he?
I'm not sure.
What is your situation in accordance to this?
Well, we was waiting for my other situation to kind of like pass, which it kind of, some movement on it. But man, we was in litigation with the NBA before the FBI. I don't even know how to answer this.
Okay.
I don't even want to be in the conversation with the FBI, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, but bro, that's our money. So what I do want to say very clear to people, because when they read the description, they say healthcare fraud, and it sounds like we got to go steal everyone's healthcare fraud. No, that's cap. Big Baby got Big Baby's money. Bassie got Bassie money. This one got, you only could go into your account. So I wanted to make that clear, because they're not going to explain that on the TV. They're not going to explain that. Like, if you say healthcare fraud, they make it sound like I took your aunt and your uncle shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I took, when I get old, that money was removed from our accounts.
Does this have anything to do with the Billy Hunter situation?
Absolutely. Because these accounts wouldn't even be intact if it wasn't for Billy Hunter.
Okay, so let's talk about Billy Hunter for a second. He's the former executive director of the National Basketball Players Association.
Shout out to Billy Hunter.
Which is the union. He was criticized because a whole bunch of his family members were working for the NBPA. But then Derek Fisher ended up doing an audit, and he found a bunch of irregularities. And once a vote, everyone basically kicked Billy Hunter out of his position. Right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He got ousted from his position on February 16th, 2013.
Okay.
He tried to sue Fisher. It got thrown out, but then they ultimately, basically the judge said that he was still owed $10.5 million. Something. It sounds like a big mess, essentially.
What position was Derek Fisher in to audit Billy Hunter? Because I don't know at the time. I know he was a player at this time, right?
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure, but he got sued by Billy Hunter. But Derek Fisher got sued as well as his publicist and business partner, a guy named Jamie Weir. You know what that is? No.
Derek Fisher's. Super bogus. But to tell you the truth, I don't want to really speak on something I don't know all about, but I know half of that story. Mm-hmm. I want to know what position was Derek Fisher at that time to audit Billy Hunter, right? That's the first thing. Second thing is the players that came in these last 15 years, you don't hear none of them crying broke. You don't hear nobody crying broke, right?
Right.
Since Antoine Walker, like that era, you don't hear nobody outside crying broke.
It's a lot more money, it seems now.
That's cap too.
That's cap?
Bullshit.
Okay.
Steph Curry and LeBron, big contract, don't got nothing to do with the bottom line of everybody having a couple of dollars.
Fair enough.
Right? So Billy Hunter, he noticed like, oh shit, guys are coming into the NBA 20, 21, 22. Either if you have a good career and you play 10 years, or let's say even 14 years, right? You 34, 35 years old. What you gonna do with the rest of your life?
Oh, I've always said this, man. That's always been the biggest problem with pro sports is that your life is laid out for you since you're like 10 years old, right? Most superstar players, they get discovered very early on.
Correct.
In elementary school a lot of times.
Correct.
And their life is laid out. Okay, don't worry about school. Do this, do that. Okay, boom. Go to this school. Don't worry about academics. Okay, Now you're in the league. It's all structured. You go to the hotel. You can't leave. Structure. Suddenly it's over. You're still a young man.
Yep.
And you have the majority of your life still ahead of you. And what do you do then? The Joe Smith story is not that uncommon.
That's for his era, though.
Yeah.
That's for his era. And that's why I say I advocate for athletes. So that's why I want the athletes to hear me, because in Joe Smith's situation, and I will be in a situation real soon that he's an athlete like that. Soon I see that, I'm calling him. Yo, I got a job for you over here right now, $250,000, and I'm shooting you $50,000 right now because I advocate for the athlete. I could get him go to talk to the kids, go do some camps. You know what I'm saying? I advocate. Right. Like when Lil Wayne ain't have the $7 million to pay the taxes, then Jay-Z pop up with the money.
Something like that, yeah.
He had beef with Jim Jones. He still double back, right? Jim Jones was on this joint talking about, we ain't buying Chanel right now, but next week. Yeah, Jay-Z still make sure he did that. So for basketball, like if you get in that situation, they just leave you dry.
Yeah, completely.
And it ain't supposed to work like that.
Right, because through the course of your career, you made $40 million? Give or take?
Give or take.
What do you think was your best purchases that you made during that time? Purchases. Investments, purchases. What are the things that you're happy you did?
Bought my mom's a house, other than that. And then that shit sound like, bought my mom a house. I don't know.
She still has that house?
No, my mom not here no more.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, yeah. But I mean, the family, does the family still have that house?
No, we was upstate. Like I said, I was like, we should have stayed in the projects. That's a fact. But no, that was definitely one of my proudest purchases, getting my mom a house. even though she wasn't, too excited about, leaving and all that. That was one of my best purchases.
What do you think was your worst purchases?
My worst purchase was my ex-wife. Facts. Everything I bought for her, that was my worst purchase.
Yeah.
But I'm about to go on my run, man. Like, I've been there, I did it, but I'm about to go on my run of my best purchases and make my mistakes financially and all that. My whole time with the money, like, we had mad bread, but it's like, I want to get it how I'm supposed to have it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I've asked this question with most of the sports players that I've interviewed. I've interviewed over 100 over the years. And I've always heard the same thing. A typical NBA locker room. You got $100 million in that room, easy, right?
Okay.
Whenever I've asked someone, how often are the players talking about investments in that locker room? I always hear never. People talk about a car they purchased, they talk about a trip, they talk about buying their mom a house, some jewelry, but no one's like, hey, listen, I just invested in the S&P 500. I just bought these stocks.
You got your group. But
as a whole, you have $100 million, which could be a hedge fund.
Wanna know why?
Why is that?
Because you got 10 agents controlling
that conversation.
All 40 or 400 of them players. You got 10 agents controlling it. We supposed to be, and a guy like Billy Hunter not being able to follow through his plan, because Billy Hunter was up there saying, we're about to buy a bank for you guys.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was talking like that. We about to buy a bank. Guys are coming out the league early. This is what I'm gonna do. Not only you gonna have a 401k and your pension, we're gonna get you a SEP IRA, a Roth account.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you a bridge account.
Yeah.
They got 7, 8 accounts now. That's why you don't hear nobody crying broke. You know what I'm saying? So
a bank sounds awesome though. I mean, because the bank could give loans to the players and everything else like that.
Why we not hedge funding?
Exactly.
That's the number. Why NBA players is not hedge funding?
Right. You guys can make group investments together.
No, because you can't have that though, because then it'd be some real wealth. They like the perception that is real wealth. It's not real wealth around the NBA. I promise you that. Because soon I say that, someone's gonna say, they're gonna bring up the richest dudes. They're gonna say, well, LeBron got $1 billion. That's one dude. Nobody lives in the community with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm advocating to open up different fields also. We got too many of our kids trying to go to the NBA.
Right.
When we know it's only 400 jobs. And we got to realize that where that money is coming from. Who else lives in LeBron community and they don't play basketball?
Well, yeah. And when you look
what field they coming from?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at LeBron also is like, he's got Rich Paul with him from the very beginning. How many people have a Rich Paul in their corner?
That episode with Gilbert, I think it was the last episode of last season, where Gilbert had Rich Paul on it. Mm-hmm. And Rich Paul said on the interview, he said that Nike had to build a business entity for them. Like they signed with them, they built a business entity for them. So what that did was that gave Rich Paul and their positions, you know what I'm saying? Then they helped
Nike?
Yeah, at Nike did that.
Okay.
Adidas supposed to did that for us, because that's how you really built it to make it something. You know, so there's a lot of information.
Kind of like what Kanye had at Adidas.
Yes.
The Yeezy unit.
Yes. Yeah. Because if not, it's going to be just grouped up. This is going to be grouped up.
Here's a sneaker, here's some money, and then boom, we're done.
Braun had he got the Dre beats, right? Yeah. How much Braun invest? It was $5 million, they say, something like that.
Sounds about right.
$5 million, he got back 50.
Well, yeah, right? He sold for $1 billion, yeah.
So if it was an organic, natural thing of us hedge funding and thinking about the next one, also not to paint anything bad about Braun when it comes to this, because Braun's responsibility is his family and himself. But if we change the narrative a little bit right now, he would have called Chris Paul and Melo and Jello and what's the name, and they would have gave him $50 million and got back $500 million, $600, $700 million.
Exactly.
So that's what we got to change in the NBA right now. No one advocating for the athlete. You by yourself. I told the NBA this. I said, when the referee got caught cheating, y'all came into the locker room and y'all said,
I interviewed him.
What's it, Darnakey? What's his name? What's his name?
Tim Donaghy.
when he got caught cheating, they came in the locker room. They said, if y'all make a comment, we're going to fine y'all. And then they came back in the locker room and said, and we not telling y'all how much it is. Because they know at that point, we just get the guy that making all the money, like, boy, go say it. Yeah. And then he take the fine. So they said, we ain't going to tell you how much it is. So they was protecting, you know what I'm saying, their brand.
Well, did you hear in that interview, he said that the word would come from the top. For example, with Kobe, to not call certain fouls and to basically lean the game to Kobe. Listen, these people are paying big tickets to be on the floor seats. They want to see Kobe on the court. So don't call as much on him. And everyone's like, no, that doesn't happen, but it does happen. Specifically, at certain times, the NBA was favoring Kobe. So what kind of message would they tell the refs in terms of, you know, make sure you call every foul and make sure that he's always, there to shoot extra points and so forth. Like how clear was the message coming from the NBA to the refs?
It was very clear. I'll never forget when Kobe was in a playoff series with the Phoenix Suns, and I forget who the defender was, but they called him the Kobe Stopper, or he referred to himself as the Kobe Stopper. And they would show us video of games previously of plays that fouls weren't called, of this guy holding him or defending him too strongly. And they wanted freedom of movement because they wanted higher scoring in these games. So they would show you plays and say, this was a foul that was missed, and these 3 referees missed this play. Make sure you don't let this happen tonight. Make sure you call this when this happens. And that's how they would program and train the officials in the next game to have more freedom of movement and have Kobe Bryant have the ability to score more points and do well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they didn't want us to talk about him cheating because they're protecting.
Well, he's not cheating, but the NBA is sort of giving him a little bit of an edge.
Was he taking Vegas bets?
Who, Kobe?
No, not Kobe. I'm talking about
Tim Donaghy. Yeah, he was doing all types of shit.
So Tim Donaghy was cheating, right? So they came in the locker room and said we couldn't make a comment about that. This is a guy that's cheating.
Right.
We can't make a comment. So that's them protecting their brand, right? Mm-hmm. So if Antoine Walker walks inside the Players Union or the NBA and he says he's in debt, $6 million or whatever, I feel as a player, we're supposed to protect our brand.
Yeah.
Right? And we a billionaire, we a $1 billion, you know what I'm saying, industry.
Multi-billion dollar
Multi-billion.
$1 billion is the cost of one team.
Y'all would have been the last people to ever figure out that he's in debt. Because I'm advocate, I'm taking that personal. He's cheating. Y'all could have hung him. That's him cheating. That's not the whole NBA. Yeah. So I want them to protect us in the same manner, in the same fashion. A word, we'll find a way. Here's $3 million. We'll work that off. You saying here's a job.
Right.
Because you protecting the players. How many times you heard the average player go broke after 5 years?
All the time.
How could they let them sit there the whole time and let that be a narrative and being said? How many times you heard that? Yeah. After 5 years, the NBA player ain't got no money. Ain't nobody saying shit. Nobody say nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody just
all
like
the
this.
Time.
Nobody doing nothing. That is a dub. You're not saying to be a part. That's something I'm a part of. That's what I am. Ain't no, we broke after 5 years. No, we doing businesses. That's why you see Baron Davis, you see Kevin Durant. They got production stuff.
Oh yeah.
People got clothing lines now. Dudes got to start working together, bro. Tap in. That career gonna be over. You gotta tap in, advocate for yourself, do a business, pass that bread to each other. That's what they doing in the other fields.
Yeah, I know Baron. I mean, I've interviewed him, and I'm like, listen, a lot of players go broke. How you doing? He's like, I'm good. I'm rich. Like me and my homies are rich. Like he right there. He's like, no, we're good. We didn't fall into that trap.
Nah, it's not no trap. It's not no trap.
It is a bit of a trap. It's a bit of a trap.
So
because
on Wall Street, a bunch of guys make $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the same perception as they make as an NBA player, right? You're going to make way more than $300,000 if you're in the NBA, right? But what they do is when they go to dinner and they golf together, whatever narrative they put together to do their shit, they hedge funding together. Yeah. You know that. That's the number one thing they doing is getting with the other guy. Mm-hmm. So how could we be sitting there with, like you said in the locker room, and how much money is in that locker room?
$100 million.
$100 million. Not one hedge fund.
Yep.
300,000. They got the same cars as these niggas got $100 million contracts. So it ain't it's not no trick. It's the conversation that we're not having. So yes, if you're in the NBA and you get yes, you could go buy you some jewelry. Yes, you could go buy a house. Yes, you could take care of your friends. Yes, you can go buy a fucking Rolls Royce Ghost. Yes, that's fool's gold. Everyone act like the players is going broke because of that. That's cap. Yeah. You're going broke because you're not doing nothing. You're not hedge funding. You're not making the conversation is, we got the money. We got to be the ones to make more money off of it and let people make money off of us.
There was a story about Rich Paul in Chicago. Tell me what happened.
Next one.
Next question? Okay. Fair enough. Your case right now, you're on appeal. You actually have an ankle monitor.
Yep.
Can we show it on camera? Can you zoom in on that? How long have you had that on?
Like 5 years now.
5 years?
Yeah.
So you can't take a bath?
Nah, I can take a bath.
Well, with your legs sticking out this.
Nah, I ain't doing that.
You can actually take it off?
I just get in the tub.
Oh, it's waterproof? I thought it messes up.
When it break, they tell them come put another one.
Okay. But still, having that thing on your leg, I'm sure is annoying. Definitely. 5 years. That's longer than high school.
Super annoying. Super annoying.
Where are you at with this whole case?
Well, I went to the appellate court, right? So I got blue trial. Went to the appellate. They got me out on appeal, and then I was out on appeal for like a year, and then that appeal, they denied that appeal. When the feds popped up at the house talking about the NBA money, while I'm sitting in jail that day, the lawyer was like, "Oh, and they denied your bail for the other case." I was like, "Oh." At that point, I'm definitely not getting out of here. But one of the appellate judges wrote a submission that was so strong that we was able to go back to the appellate division, and they took it to the Supreme Court. So it was back there for another year. Then it took the Supreme Court for 2 years. Supreme Court just sent us back maybe 3 weeks ago, and they reversed the case.
So your case got reversed?
Yeah.
So why do you still have an ankle monitor on?
It should be up me soon.
Okay.
It should be up me. It should be up me soon. I got to pay it off of me.
You got to pay it off?
Yeah, it's a shakedown.
But hey, it's probably the best money you've ever spent. Shh. How much are they asking?
But this thing right here, I'll probably pay not much. I'll probably pay like $25,000 since I had this on for this.
I'm sure you'll gladly pay that money.
For sure.
Okay. So within a couple of weeks, you're going to get that off.
Facts. Start getting back into my normal life.
You could actually get on a plane because they've kept you in New York this whole time.
Yep. 5 boroughs.
Right. Unlike a Boosie who does shows all over the place, it's hard to justify your current job to have to travel to different states and stuff like that.
So my current job was out of the country. So they took my passport.
Right.
Fact, I would have still been playing in China. Steph played until he was 41.
So for the past 5 years, you could have been playing in China.
No, I'm 38 right now. For the past 7 years, I got stopped on 2017.
So for 7 years,
I could have been in China. My contract
tens of millions of dollars.
A little over 10 million for sure. For salary.
Damn.
For sure of salary.
Damn.
For a case that's reversed.
For a case that's reversed. It's not like you can sue them. You can sue them for the money either.
I don't know about all that, but
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, Sebastian, man, appreciate you coming in. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and I've been following your story. Regardless of the trials and tribulations that you went through, out of everyone around you grew up with, man, you got to really experience life at the highest levels. You got to play with the best players on earth. You went straight out of high school into the pros. You don't got any, you didn't win any championships, unfortunately, but a lot of times that doesn't depend on the player. I interviewed Dominique Wilkins, who's considered one of the best, but he doesn't have any rings either because it's like, hey, a lot of pieces have to fit together, and there's a lot of luck.
We'll talk about that next. That's a form of control also. That championship shit is a form of control.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth.
Look at Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? Another all-time great that just doesn't have any rings, unfortunately. Charles Barkley. Like, we can keep going on and on and on.
What does that mean?
Well, what it means is that it doesn't take away from the greatness of the players just because they don't have a ring.
It does, though.
Depends on who looks at it.
The way the narrative is, I'll be watching them speak. And the pen, like even Charles Barkley, that's his whole thing. He didn't win the championship.
Right, Shaq gets him on that.
Yeah, but we got to change the narrative. We not there for no championships. We trying to get some real wealth for us.
True.
Right now, we don't have no real wealth. We can't, you know what I'm saying? These dudes that you see with these contracts, they can't take you back to their community and to show you brick that they built. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, we got to get on that. Championships. Stop playing, bro.
No, you're right. Because
that's the whole thing. Every time who won the most championship, like, bro, we're not really winning out here in America. We trying to make the basketball make sense. If everybody gonna focus on the basketball, let's make it make sense. It's not really making sense right now.
Yeah.
Facts.
I mean, like, look at, for example, what's happening in Saudi Arabia in the whole golf game. They were like, fuck it. We're going to compete against y'all. We're going to pay the best players more money than everyone else. And we're going to actually start to eclipse the monopoly that y'all have had for 100 years.
Facts.
Imagine if all the players got together and said, okay, fuck the NBA. We're going to start our own league. And we have enough money to just...
I'm not here for that either. Nah? I'm not saying fuck the NBA. I'm saying is we just got to change the conversation. And I'm saying it's not enough stuff being built for all of us to focus on the basketball. Grown ass men look worried about the games. For all of us to, come on, bro. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Like when you really go into the communities, I don't really feel it. I want to be able to feel it. And I didn't get my $200-300 million yet. But if I'd have got $200-300 million, I would have showed you my statue and my project right now. Facts. I would have showed you, instead of me showing you one gym that we built and 5 basketball courts, I would have showed you 5 buildings.
Well,
feel me?
Stefan pretty much did that in China, but you didn't want to be in China. You want to be in America.
Man.
Stephon Marbury got statues in China, right?
Bruh.
I'm right. You know what I'm saying? He's the king over there, but he had to go to a whole different part of the planet in order to do it.
Steph, that's what's up. But I'm talking about right here on the land. I'm talking about right here. Like people that look like me, you know what I'm saying? You stop it. Like, stop playing with me.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. I feel you. And you're right.
Stop. And can you cash that in over there? How much that's worth? I'm on that time, man. I got a bunch of family. I got all my nieces. I got my studio right there on Mermaid. All my nieces knock on the door. Everybody, Christmas, everybody, you feel me? We out here. I don't got time talking about no statues and all of that. We trying to make some big business moves. Look at you. Look at yourself, Vlad. You put your production shit together. Look at you. You got more money than the athletes. Let's talk about that one.
Let me tell you.
You got more money than the athletes, bro. We want my whole community. Yeah. You want my whole culture. My whole culture is focusing on saying, like, bro, with a laptop, bro, and a pen, you can run past that NBA shit.
John Sally lives down the street from me.
Facts.
He lives half a block. He goes to my house. I go to his house.
John Sally's he need to speak up more. He need to advocate for the athlete more. Because he's one of the guys that stayed working and stayed doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Joe Smith, shout out to Joe Smith. Get up, let's go. Tap into with the other athletes. It's something out there for you to do. Tell your story. I'm not here for the athletes hanging their head. I'm not here saying that you can't talk your shit because we see you had a jersey before. You can still talk your shit. Like, let's go. And everybody not going to win no championship. I hate that shit. I hate that championship shit. I watch the games and they talk about Westbrook like, look how they did Melo. Was the point for Melo to get his family out the projects and take care of himself and build a legacy? Or was it about a championship? Because now they got tables that it seems like he can't sit at because he don't got a championship.
Well, being on the New York Knicks for that long, you know what I'm saying?
I don't care what team it is, bro.
Unfortunately, the Knicks, for whatever reason, have never, the last championship was 73. You know what I'm saying? You have a superstar player, unfortunately, on a team that I feel has never built up properly around him.
I was fiending for Zion to get to the Knicks. Imagine if Zion had some of these little struggles he's having, like with his weight, if he's at the Garden. They'd have made that a fucking huge deal.
Right. But I mean, it's the biggest stage,
the next
one of the biggest stages.
The person that's going to win a championship for the Knicks is my son. He's 2 years old tomorrow.
Okay, congratulations.
So my son, Sebastian Telfair, he's going to win a championship for the Knicks. Until then, it's clipped.
That's what it is, man. Sebastian Telfair, man. Appreciate you coming in, man. And, you know, look, you just getting started. You're still young as hell. You're about to get that ankle monitor off.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's still a long, long, long story
Facts.
ahead of you, man. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Appreciate it.
What it is.
Thanks, man.
Peace.